Hello all. Today's class is on hypersensitivity. Hypersensitivity will be dealt in two classes. First half will be dealt in today's class and the second half will be covered in the next class. Whenever a foreign antigen enters inside our body mounts an immune response and tries to eliminate the foreign antigen from our body. And so in general, we all know immune response is a protective mechanism which protects our body from the foreign antigen. But in certain circumstances, this immune response can turn out dangerous or injurious to the host cells, and sometimes it can even result in death. So do you know when this happens? So this occurs when the immune system responds in an exaggerated or in an inappropriate form. So this exaggerated or an inappropriate immune response resulting in injurious effect to the human body is called as hypersensitivity reaction. So the term hypersensitivity was coined by the person called von Perquet, and this is an overreaction of the immune system to the antigens or also called as allergens. So hypersensitivity is defined as an injurious consequence which is occurring in a sensitized host following simultaneous exposure to the specific antigen. So each and every word is important here. It's an injurious consequence. So it's not a protective immune response. It is an injurious immune response which is happening in a sensitized host. The host should be sensitized, which means he has to be previously exposed to that particular antigen or allergen. And whenever there is a simultaneous exposure to the same specific allergen or the antigen, this hypersensitivity reaction occurs. So it's defined as an injurious consequence happening in a sensitized host following contact with a specific allergen or antigen. So pre-sensitization is very important for hypersensitivity to occur. And hypersensitivity reaction always needs two doses. One is called the priming dose or the sensitizing dose, and the second one is called the effector dose. So this priming or sensitizing dose is very important for the hypersensitivity reaction to happen. Now what is this priming dose? This is the initial exposure of a human body to a particular antigen or an allergen which results in sensitizing or priming of appropriate B or T lymphocytes. So this is called as a sensitizing dose or the first exposure to the antigen or the allergen. And the next dose is called as a shocking dose or the effector dose, which is subsequent exposure to the same antigen or the allergen which results in the manifestation of hypersensitivity. So these two doses are very important for any hypersensitivity reaction to happen. Priming dose, which is the first contact to the allergen or the antigen. Shocking dose, which is the second exposure to the same allergen or the antigen, following which clinical manifestations of hypersensitivity occurs. So there should be a minimum interval of 2 to 3 weeks between these two doses. Based on the time interval between the exposure to the allergen and the manifestation of hypersensitivity reaction, these hypersensitivity reactions are classified into two major types, which is immediate hypersensitivity reaction and delayed hypersensitivity reaction. And based on Gell and Kuhn classification, this is again classified into four types, where type 1, type 2 and type 3 come under immediate hypersensitivity reaction, whereas type 4 comes under delayed hypersensitivity reaction. Type 1 is also called as atopy or anaphylactic reaction, which is mediated by IgE antibodies. Type 2 is called as antibody dependent hypersensitivity reaction, which is mediated either by IgG or IgM antibodies. Type 3 is called as immune complex mediated disease, which is because of immune complex formation, again which is due to IgG or IgM antibodies. And type 4 is called as delayed hypersensitivity, which is mediated by T cells, and therefore it is called as cell mediated hypersensitivity reaction. So type 1, type 2 and type 3 comes under immediate hypersensitivity reaction because once the individual gets exposed to the shocking dose of the allergen, the manifestation of hypersensitivity reaction occurs within minutes to hours, and therefore it is called as immediate hypersensitivity reaction, and all immediate hypersensitivity reactions are mediated by antibodies. Type 1 by IgE, type 2 and type 3 by IgM or IgG. And type 4 comes under delayed hypersensitivity reaction because after exposure to the shocking dose of the allergen, the manifestation of hypersensitivity occurs days after the contact with the shocking dose. And type 4 or delayed hypersensitivity is not because of antibody, instead it is mediated by T lymphocytes. So immediate hypersensitivity includes your anaphylaxis, atopy, antibody-mediated type 2 hypersensitivity reaction and immune complex-mediated type 3 hypersensitivity reaction. Whereas delayed hypersensitivity, examples include tuberculin type and contact dermatitis, both of which are mediated by T lymphocytes. So the basic difference between immediate and delayed hypersensitivity reaction are: immediate hypersensitivity reaction appears and recedes very quickly within minutes to hours. Whereas delayed hypersensitivity appears very slow, it takes days for the manifestation to occur and it also lasts longer. Immediate hypersensitivity can be induced by any route, inhalation, ingestion or parenteral, though always parenteral is considered to be the strongest route. Whereas delayed hypersensitivity is usually by skin contact or by intradermal route. All immediate hypersensitivity reactions type 1, type 2 and type 3 are mediated by antibody, whereas delayed hypersensitivity is mediated by T lymphocytes. Because immediate hypersensitivity is through antibody, there can be passive transfer of hypersensitivity reaction from one person to another with the transfer of serum. Whereas delayed hypersensitivity cannot be transferred with serum because it is not mediated by antibodies. And desensitization is very easy, but it is very short-lived in case of immediate hypersensitivity reactions. Whereas desensitization is very difficult, but once achieved, it lasts longer in case of delayed hypersensitivity. So we'll look into type 1 hypersensitivity in detail. Type 1 hypersensitivity is also known as immediate or anaphylactic hypersensitivity response. It is mediated by IgE antibodies and it occurs in two forms. One is a systemic form, which is very acute and fatal form of hypersensitivity called as anaphylaxis. The other one is a very localized form, which is chronic or non-fatal type of hypersensitivity, which is called as atopy. So type 1 hypersensitivity can occur either as a systemic form, which is called as anaphylaxis, or localized form, which is called as atopy. So what is anaphylaxis? Anaphylaxis is a term coined by Richard, and sensitization, always there has to be two doses whenever any hypersensitivity reaction has to happen. One is the sensitizing dose, the other one is the shocking dose. And sensitization is most effective when the allergen or the antigen enters by parenteral route. It can also happen when it enters by ingestion or inhalation. And shocking dose is also most effective when it is introduced by parenteral route IV and less effective when it is injected intraperitoneally or subcutaneously, and least effective when it is injected intradermal. So coming to the mechanism of type 1 hypersensitivity reactions, this single slide will explain the entire mechanism of hypersensitivity reaction in a nutshell. So always remember the mechanism can be divided into two parts. One is that happening following exposure to the sensitizing dose and the other one happening following exposure to the shocking dose. The first most important step for the hypersensitivity to occur is the entry of an allergen. So if you see here, there is an allergen which is entered inside the human body, and suppose this is the first exposure to the allergen. This is called as a sensitizing dose of the allergen. Following exposure to the sensitizing dose, the antigen, because this is a foreign antigen, this is being taken up by the antigen processing cell, and this antigen processing cell presents the allergen to the helper T cell. And this helper T cell gets activated, produces cytokines, and these cytokines in turn goes and activate B lymphocytes. And these activated B lymphocytes differentiates into plasma cells and into memory B cells. And these plasma cells which are activated following exposure to the allergen produces IgE antibody. And it is this IgE antibody which is very important culprit for type 1 hypersensitivity. And the IgE antibodies produced in the patient body, instead of freely circulating in the circulation, it goes and attaches to the surface of cells which is either mast cell or basophil. And the cells which is carrying these IgE antibody on the surface, they are called as sensitized cell. So it can be either a sensitized mast cell or a sensitized basophil. And IgE antibodies bind to the mast cells and basophils with the help of Fc subunit binding to the Fc receptor present on the surface of the cell. And this is what is happening following exposure to the sensitizing dose. So I'll repeat once again. Following exposure to the sensitizing dose of the allergen, this is taken up by the antigen presenting cell, presented to the helper T cell, which gets activated, releases cytokine, goes and activates the B lymphocytes. B lymphocytes differentiates into IgE producing plasma cells and memory cells. And this IgE goes and binds to the Fc receptor present on the surface of mast cells and basophils, and they are called as sensitized cells. So, a person who has been sensitized to the allergen will always be having sensitized mast cells and basophils present in the circulation. Now what happens when the same allergen enters for the second time? So the same allergen enters inside the body for the second time, then it is called as a shocking dose. Now this allergen, because it already has the respective binding antibody inside the patient's body, it directly goes and binds to the IgE antibody present on the surface of mast cells and basophil. Because already binding or the cross-linking antibody is present, it bypasses all the other steps like taken up by the antigen presenting cells, stimulating the T cells and then producing the antibody. Instead of this, because already a primary immune response has happened, this allergen now directly goes and binds to the IgE antibody present on the surface of the mast cells and the basophil. Once this antigen antibody binding occurs, there is cross-linking between the IgE antibody on the surface of sensitized cell, which sends signals inside the sensitized cell, resulting in the rupture of mast cells and basophils. And these cells rupture and release chemical mediators which are present inside the cell. These chemical mediators play a very important role in producing the manifestation of hypersensitivity reaction. The chemical mediators are divided into two types. One is called the primary mediators, the other one is called the secondary mediators. Primary mediators are preformed chemical mediators which are already present inside the mast cell and basophil, most important being histamine and serotonin. Whereas secondary mediators are chemical substances which are synthesized once allergen binds to the IgE antibody and then they are released from the mast cell and the basophil. Important examples being prostaglandins and leukotriene. So these primary and secondary mediators play a very important role. They go and act on almost all the cells in the human body, producing manifestation. They act on smooth muscles, resulting in contraction of smooth muscle, act on the bronchial muscles, producing bronchoconstriction, acts on the blood vessels, resulting in increased vascular permeability and vasodilatation, produces platelet aggregation, acts on the mucosal surfaces, resulting in increased mucosal secretion. So all these ultimately produce various symptoms like breathlessness, hypotension, which ultimately results in shock, leading to even death in some of the affected individual. So this is the entire mechanism which is happening following exposure to the allergen in case of type 1 hypersensitivity reactions. So the same thing is explained in the slide. Following exposure to sensitizing dose, there is B cells getting activated, which results in production of IgE antibody, which goes and binds to the surface of mast cells and basophils, which is always present in the circulation. And following the exposure to shocking dose, the IgE antibody recognizes and binds with the allergen, which has entered the body for the second time, resulting in cross-linking of antibodies present on the surface of sensitized cell, sends signal inside the cell, causing rupture of the cell and release of chemical mediators. And these chemical mediators, which are primary and secondary, primary being histamine and serotonin, secondary being prostaglandins, platelet activating factor, leukotriene, which results in clinical manifestation. And here I have attached video, animated video explaining type 1 hypersensitivity. You can even watch this later. So the different clinical manifestations of type 1 hypersensitivity are, there can be itching of the scalp and the tongue, which is the commonest manifestation, flushing of skin, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, diarrhea, resulting in leading to hypotension, loss of consciousness, difficulty in breathing due to bronchospasm, and ultimately leading to shock and death of the individual. So how do you treat this anaphylactic type 1 hypersensitivity anaphylactic reaction? So anaphylaxis, which is systemic type 1 hypersensitivity reaction, is always fatal. It is acute, happening within few minutes after exposure to the allergen, and therefore prompt treatment is needed, and administration of adrenaline, which has to be repeated over 15 minutes, is very helpful, is the first modality of treatment, followed by some other drugs which can be tried are antihistamines, cortisone, theophylline, and hypersensitization can also be done. Hypersensitization is nothing but slow repeated injection of the suspected allergen into the patient body so that they no longer be allergic to that particular antigen. The basic hypothesis behind this mechanism is, when there is a repeated exposure to the small amount of allergen inside the patient's body, the antibody production shifts from IgE to IgG, and therefore when IgE antibody is not produced, obviously the patient loses his allergic tendency to the particular antigen. This is called hypersensitization. Atopy is again a type of type 1 hypersensitivity manifestation. The term atopy was coined by a person called Koka, and this is usually has a familial tendency. It's naturally occurring familial hypersensitivity in humans. And the basic difference between anaphylaxis and atopy is usually a localized form of type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. It is non-acute and non-fatal. So type 1 can occur in two forms. One is fatal form of disease where there is a systemic involvement which is called as anaphylaxis. The other one is a localized form of disease which is non-fatal, which is called as atopy. This usually occurs by allergens which are either inhalants or ingestants. So the commonest allergens are pollen grains, house dust, egg and milk. Some of the examples for this localized atopic type 1 hypersensitivity reaction are allergic rhinitis or hay fever, asthma, food allergy, drug allergy and atopic dermatitis. So all these are localized hypersensitivity reaction. There is usually a genetic predisposition which runs among families. It's a localized reaction. It is non-fatal. So the mechanism is very similar to anaphylaxis. This also needs a sensitizing and a shocking dose. Following exposure to sensitizing dose, T cells are stimulated. It goes and stimulates the respective B cell. B cell produces plasma cells synthesizing IgE antibody. IgE antibody goes and binds to the surface of mast cells and basophil. And following exposure to the shocking dose, there is cross-linking of IgE antibody, sending signals inside the sensitized cells, resulting in release of chemical mediators. So the difference is, whereas in anaphylaxis, the entire reaction is happening throughout the body in the circulation. In case of atopy, the entire mechanism is limited to the particular organ or to one particular site, so that this entirely becomes a localized reaction. If the allergen enters by inhalation, it is limited to the respiratory tract. If it enters by ingestion, it is limited to the gastrointestinal tract. So it is always localized and non-fatal, but it has the same mechanism as anaphylaxis. So common symptoms based on the site involved, there can be conjunctivitis, rhinitis, gastrointestinal symptoms or dermatitis. And again, treatment, you can try for antihistamines, cortisones, theophylline, and desensitization is also found to be very useful in case of atopy, which is nothing but exposure to a repeated exposure to smaller doses of allergen, so that you are making the individual no longer allergic to that particular antigen. So with this, we'll end the first half of hypersensitivity reaction. So we have dealt with type 1 hypersensitivity, and remaining hypersensitivity reaction 2, 3 and 4 will be dealt in the next class.